So I want to start by saying that I am not a huge celebrity person. I never have been. I've never been a Diddy fan either. Never liked him, ironically. Like as a kid, seeing him on TV, I just felt like he looked mean. And normally when I get those instincts about people, I tend to be right. So I was in this case. I wasn't the hugest fan of Cassie either. Like I think I only knew one song from her, which is the Me and You song. So I knew of them, but I never really followed either of their careers, to be honest. But that doesn't mean that I don't have empathy when people are going through stuff. Just knowing that Cassie agreed to testify in this case against her ex and to serve as the prosecution's key witness, like to me, she deserves so much respect. And she's doing this all while very pregnant, too. I can't imagine how hard it must be for her to take the stand and to have to relive so many of her worst and most traumatic and disturbing experiences, like those forced freak offs and the physical, emotional, and sexual harm that he did to her. Cassie's decision to come forward, despite the personal and emotional toll, shows her commitment to seeking justice, not just for herself, but for all of his alleged victims. And I only say alleged because I don't want to get in trouble. But we know. Anyway, that being said, I worry for Cassie and her baby because it must be experiencing so much pre-birth trauma through her ordeal. Like I'm very much aware of epigenetics and the fact that you can be born with the trauma of your parents, of your ancestors. And so like that baby's in the courtroom just like she is and experiencing all her stress and her worry and her fear, and I just like that's just really sad. I really hope Cassie is getting help for her mental health during this time as well. I hope that she's, in therapy or whatever she needs to be doing. I hope that she's doing it to take care of herself. It was so disheartening to hear that the jury was 8 males and 4 women as well, especially because the defense was trying to like shame and blame Cassie for Diddy's abuse by painting her as a gold digger, who was dating a music executive 10 years older than herself before she ever got with Diddy. So it's obviously like she's into like these older guys. She's into guys with money and status, right? I hate that they painted her as like a cheater and a druggie who enjoyed the freak offs just as much as Diddy. It's disgusting that they're trying to go with this whole she's no angel narrative as if there's such thing as the perfect victim. She was a child when they met. Like she was 19 and he was 17 years older. It's important to keep in mind that the human brain doesn't finish developing until you're about 25 years old. And also the whole using substances thing, she was most likely using that stuff to cope with all the abuse she was experiencing. Also, I don't know that she knew about his relationship status originally, like when he came on to her. Again, she was very young, and it was up to Diddy, as the adult in the situation, it was up to him to honor his relationship and leave her alone. Instead, he made it seem like he would help her career, and the whole time he had ulterior motives. I'm not saying any of this either to downplay like all of the emotional and physical harm that Kim Porter must have experienced being cheated on while having this man's children and everything. I feel horrible for her, and I have a feeling that he knows what happened to her. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to get into it here. I want to make one more point as well. Apparently, when Cassie took the stand yesterday, she described Diddy as being polarizing. She said that sometimes he would be charming and vibrant, and other times his eyes would go black and he would descend into uncontrollable rage, becoming someone she didn't even recognize. I found that especially interesting, and people need to pay attention to stuff like this because not enough people are talking about his eyes going black. I actually have a video on this channel, and it was called If He Looks at You Like This, Run. And in it, I talk all about how to spot narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths. And one of the telltale signs of some of these individuals is exactly that, the eyes going black. They also call them the shark eyes. And it often happens right before an outburst or a violent act. So it's very clear that Diddy has a cluster B personality. He's got some kind of personality disorder. And it makes sense. Like, no wonder he was able to ensnare so many people around him, charm them, trick them. It's no wonder he's able to charm Cassie when she was really young and naive. And once he had her trapped, that mask came off, and then the abuse began. These type of people are terrifying, and they're very dangerous. It just speaks to like how brave she was. There were tons of men around him whole time. he was abusing them too sometimes. There was tons of men around him and they stayed silent because, like my other video on this channel where I talk about men being afraid of men and that's why they don't protect women, this is a perfect example. It took a woman standing up for herself to open the floodgates and expose all of what he's been doing to men, women, and children this whole time. It took a woman. Again, men are not the natural protectors. It's women. Time and time again, it just proves it. Oh, another thing. I couldn't believe that his defense lawyers were trying to blame her for ruining his career before they blame him for being an evil, demonic being and ruining his own career based on his actions. They want to blame the person who came forward about his actions. Like, this world is set up so that males, especially males with money and power, never ever have to take accountability. Like, their victims have to take accountability for destroying the reputation by coming forward about their crimes. Like, that this is literally clown world. Like, the patriarchy is the damn circus and these males are the clowns. It's also crazy that his defense team tried to justify his abuse and blowing up Kid Cudi's car by claiming that Diddy was jealous and upset and offended because, Cassie was cheating on him with someone else in the music industry. I heard that they were on a break, but even if it was true, does that excuse his extreme violence and attempted unaliving? Like, absolutely not. This is the best they can come up with. Child. Anyway, so I could go on, but I'm going to wrap this up with one last point. I think I might have said that before, but I really mean it this time. So few people understand the impact of DV on its victims. Like, people were on YouTube and they were on TikTok asking, why did Cassie stay so long? Why did she stay for 10 years? Why did she seem to enjoy some of the things that she was doing? Why was she saying that stuff to him in the text? And they weren't even realizing that she's been in survival mode for like the majority of the relationship. We have to remember she was young and she was being abused by a person with some kind of personality disorder. I'm sure at some point Cassie truly did believe that if she acted like a better person, if she behaved, that he wouldn't crash out on her, that he wouldn't abuse her, that he would change. I'm sure that for a long time she didn't know that the problem wasn't her, it was him all along. But by the time she did realize, it was too late and she couldn't get away. If y'all remember, she talked about trying to escape many times, only for his people to find her and then bring her back. And then she'd be subjected to things like beating or rape. Another thing is, emotional abuse doesn't just hurt feelings, it literally rewires the brain. Chronic emotional abuse has been shown to alter brain function and structure, particularly in areas like the amygdala, which is fear processing, and the hippocampus, which is memory, and the prefrontal cortex, which is decision making. So, survivors of emotional abuse often experience what they call CPTSD, anxiety, depression, and cognitive impairments that can feel like brain fog or even mimic traumatic brain injuries. Studies using brain scans have also shown that people who endure prolonged psychological trauma like gaslighting, chronic invalidation, and manipulation may exhibit reduced gray matter in critical emotional regulation areas. So, in short, being mentally tortured literally changes your mind. So, all things considered, all of this considered, along with the sexual abuse and the trauma from that, along with the physical abuse and the trauma from that, you can't ask why Cassie wasn't behaving like a normal, healthy person with a normal, healthy, uninjured brain. That's not fair. That's not a fair thing to ask. It's like if someone falls down off a bike and suffers from brain damage. Like, you're not going to go around and ask them why they're not acting normal. You would understand they injured their head. They have a brain injury. That same energy needs to be extended to people who survive DV because the trauma, it can look the same. It can literally look the same. But instead, we live in a patriarchal society that constantly looks for ways to blame women for the actions of males, no matter how violent or cruel those males are, no matter how young that woman was when it began. And that's why I'm honestly nervous that there's 8 males and only 4 women on the jury. Now, we have to have hope that these males will have some level of emotional intelligence, some empathy, and, they won't just look at a beautiful woman and instinctively demonize her and blame her for her own sexual assault and think that she's some kind of druggie and cheater like they're trying to paint her as. But, that's a big ask. A lot of males, especially these days, they have even less empathy for women than they did before. A lot of them have fallen down the red pill pipeline. A lot of males voted for the Orange King. So it's worrying. It really is. I don't know why they would split the jury like that. It feels like it was kind of split in Diddy's favor. And I just really wish it was like equal. Like, I wish it was at least 6 men and 6 women. Because at this point, I feel like the public knows he's guilty, but the jury might decide that he's not. And that would be horrifying. I hope that they're there to do the right thing. I really do. Anyway, I don't want to end this on a negative note. I mean, the trial is still continuing into tomorrow at least, and we're just gonna have to trust that they vetted these people and these are the best people to be on the jury and that they're going to be fair and they're going to be intelligent. I hope so. But until then, let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.